Welcome to Money on Tap, your personal finance headquarters. Money on Tap is where we bring out the professionals, experience, and some fun in what we call three-dimensional investing, utilizing insurance, brokerage, and fee-based planning. And that is what we do on this show. We look at all sides of the issues and bring a fully independent planning perspective to the table. My name is Seth Cressman, and I'm joined here once again with John Ryder and Ben Brayshaw. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Seth and John.
Good morning, gentlemen, and Ben.
Thank you. Thank you.
You can reach us at 855-226-8551 or email us at info@yourmoneyontap.com. You can also find us at Facebook, 3D Investing. I think we have an interesting show this morning. We're going to be talking about the retirement trap you never saw coming. And I think we will have enough time to talk about Oregon's solution to an increasing retirement, increasing its retirement savings for its residents.
Wait.
Hold on,
He said it was going to be an
Seth.
interesting show. Why is John here? John, what?
Seth, I have to tell you, I never saw this coming. So Oregon is innovating an initiative to get its residents ahead in saving for retirement. I never thought we'd see that happen.
Is that because they failed on their pension?
Yes, it is, Ben. That's one
Bad job,
definitely
Oregon.
beats the other. That's what it always is like. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, we want to introduce a new segment. And, we threw some ideas around for what this might look like and how we could have some fun. We like to do that here at Money on Tap.
Yes, we do.
And, in creating, sometimes part of the creative process is you just really never know what you're going to wind up with. And so, you jump in, you muck around a little bit, see where the cookie crumbles. And I think we did have some fun. I think we found some really great stuff here.
Yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting thing. I think, the world right now is a little bit in turmoil. The market's moving pretty heavily in one way or another, and ups and downs, and lots of things happening. And I think this audio clip that we're going to share today really expresses the fact that like 2008 and the struggles that everyone had. I mean, it affected our entire country. They become a blip on the radar. I mean, you remember them; they were relevant.
Don't we all remember that time,
Yeah.
2008? I mean, I don't care what industry you're in. I mean, it just doesn't matter what it was. Obviously, the financial markets were a big deal when we were in this. But no matter what industry you're in, it got affected. And Seth, you had the opportunity to talk with several business owners out in Oregon just regarding their business and their story. This was fascinating because what it really did is it really helped really bring in the human element of what happened with people during that time. It was a real tough time.
And this is a great story of recovery and survival. And
Perseverance, all that stuff.
What America, I mean, what the heartblood of America is all about. And I think that this story will resonate with a lot of people out there.
So you're going to be listening to the Jobin brothers and Alex Payne from Jobin Roofing, and we hope you enjoy.
My name is Casey Jobin. I'm one of the owners of Jobin Roofing.
My name is Brennan Jobin of Jobin Roofing. I'm the oldest Jobin, which is a very important thing to document.
And I'm Alex Payne, and everyone's like, what's Jobin? Your last name's Payne.
He's an adopted Jobin.
I am.
That's a good way to start. So
Yeah.
what is Jobin and then Payne?
Well, Payne is an afterthought, is what Payne is. Yeah, it just so happened that I got fired from my amazing job, and next day I was in business with these guys because they're incredible.
It might have been less than 24 hours.
It really was,
honestly. Alex, in starting a roofing company, Alex has actually helped me through a lot of my journey in starting roofing. That's not where I came from. He's been a mentor to me, and I knew he was working another job, and he was helping us get our business off the ground. And he called me and said, hey, they let me go. And I was like, oh, awesome. As awesome as it could be for seeing his talent and trying to bring him in. So yeah, less than 24 hours, he was a full-on owner of the company.
Awesome. So you had Jobin kind of under construction.
Yes.
Yep.
That's lovely. It's a roofing company, and I say under construction. And in that period of time, you were how long in the making of the idea from where did this get birthed from, and then Alex joins it?
There was a lot of complaining on Casey's end. Casey had worked for another roofing company. He would just kind of talk about how the roofing company that he was previously employed at just was not a very good company. I'm hardwired to be a problem solver. That just kind of makes me happy. And Casey just kept on talking. I'm just like, why don't we do this? And we can do it better. And that's how the idea kind of grew some legs. And I'll never forget spending $200 and filing our business name with the Secretary of State of Washington. It was just a really cool feeling. But that's kind of how we started.
Yeah, and to give a little more backstory on my complaining, in quotes, I worked for a roofing company in their sales department, as did Alex when we were colleagues together there, and it was advertised as a premium roofing, a one-stop shop. They're going to take care of everything, and they promised the moon. And my frustration stemmed largely out of the fact that they didn't deliver. Communication with the customer, their price point was through the roof. And
that was a good case.
Yeah. Yeah. As opposed to, what it really boiled down to is I understood that they were selling a value product, but as I learned more and more about the way that their business operated, they weren't delivering on it. And I felt slighted because I sell from a place of really caring about my customer. It's going to be timely, the communication's there, that they're going to get every penny that they pay for. The more you hang out in an industry, the more you learn about it. And the more I learned about it, the more disappointed I was as I got more and more angry phone calls from customers that there was a lot of very dismissive, we'll get to it when we get to it. So there's a lot of shortcomings in the contract. I know contractors have a great reputation for timeliness and communication, but we really stepped into this to kind of bridge some missing components.
I complained a lot too, so that's why I left and went to a different company. And that's how I consequently wound up here. I cut my teeth completely differently at this next company. Really worked for a guy who had been in the industry a long time, worked for the biggest commercial roofing outfit in the United States. So I learned the industry inside and out, and just worked my butt off and listened and watched and learned and trial and error and tested until I just kind of came up with a strategy that worked best for me to dominate the market, so to speak. Creating a lot of revenue for the company and managing all the Oregon projects. Went to renegotiate my contract. They said bye-bye, and I said, okay. And so, life takes you strange places, but we went from helping Casey and Brendan to working 18 hours a day consistently. So, and that includes Sundays.
This is not your first rodeo.
Absolutely not.
And
absolutely
speaking
not.
of rodeo, was this true that you were a rodeo all-star at one point?
Yeah. I was a bareback rider for about 9 years. I rode through high school and then professionally after high school. Had a lot of good experiences, a lot of bad experiences, and good times.
But you all have experiences from other industries. It sounds like a pain, and then out of the pain, there's the opportunity.
Yes.
So share with me a little bit about some of the things that you found in starting a business. First point of excitement with filing with the State of Washington, Secretary of State of Washington, and your business license, to being where you are today. What are some of the things that you would turn around and say, I would do that differently?
Those are great questions. I'd say my first real rough experiences for like many Americans was when the economy kind of took a nosedive back in 2008. And I had left working for a really good friend named Rip Caswell out of Troutdale. And I moved to Utah, didn't know anybody in Utah. And I was working UPS at night because there weren't many jobs. I didn't have any connections. I was also trying to substitute teach. That was just not turning a whole lot of work for me. And I was just like, I got to do something. This is just the most miserable thing I've ever done. I've been an entrepreneur at heart since I was knee-high. I knew a lot of people were going back to work, and so I thought, well, maybe I'll put some Craigslist ads out, offer tutoring services. I started tutoring people, and from there I got into technical writing. Kind of a miracle, really. It was one of my clients, her boyfriend was named Curtis Bagley, CD Dental Implants. And his business was a wreck, and he needed collection letters because a lot of dentists were stiffing him. And so that's how I kind of started cutting my teeth with doing some different business writing and tighten up his business. And then I realized, wow, if Mr. Curtis Bagley needs my help, maybe there's somebody else. And I started putting Craigslist ads out in the South. And ultimately, I kept discovering new needs. And in the process, I really specialized myself so much, I couldn't scale myself. And I needed a change. And I was like, well, I love personal training because I was a personal trainer when I was in college. I'm going to become a physical therapist. And that was really challenging because of the amount of information you have to memorize. So that was kind of a route that I was going, where I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. And here I am kind of going down a road where I'm conforming to something that's really not me. Mm-hmm. I was really pretty much just naked because I had kind of quit doing my technical writing research. And that's when I moved in with Casey, became Casey's roommate, and that's when Casey would come downstairs, and like the good housewife that I was, I listened to whatever complaining he had. And that's really how Jobin Roofing came about. But yeah, that's kind of my story. And then Casey has a pretty interesting one too.
For sure. I think most of our lives revolve around 2008 and the economy crashing. But I actually went to school for psychology, and I really liked it. So I really like talking with people, and I like kind of helping them, just kind of gently guide them to wherever it is they're trying to go. And I actually went through and got a master's degree in counseling psychology. I was teaching classes, I was getting my master's program, the economy tanked, and I was like, oh, this is going to be tough. But working towards licensure and trying to find a job afterwards to make that happen, and the reality was there just wasn't any. So I thought, okay, well, I'm really good at listening to people, and I like talking with them and solving problems. What should I do? Well, I should sell some shoes. Now, that's just the logical progression. I just had an opening. I had bills I had to pay. So I sold shoes, and it turns out I had a natural talent for selling shoes. Just A+. And then after that, I worked in sales in a construction company, really small business. You'd think like a counselor would make really wise choices, but I did date the boss's daughter, which is more or less how that job ended. But I liked it. You're working with a bigger customer. This was big industrial sales, $1 million deals, going in and pitching it and selling it and solving their problems. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then I saw an ad for a roofing sales position. Let's see what I can do with this, because now I'm working directly with homeowners instead of giant faceless corporations. That there's just a lot of cogs in the machine. So I got into that, and that's where I met Alex, who was working there in sales and doing a lot of their training. So I got in there, and I really liked it. And I thought I was working for a company that was A+ and making that stuff happen. But the journey has been a weird and winding one. If not for 2008, I might
2008 and dating the boss's daughter.
I think you've got a little bit of maybe 2008.
Oh, 2008. Yeah.
Well,
let me back it up a little bit. Let's just go back to 1998. Okay. Yeah. So I grew up as a fifth-generation farmer, and I was on and off the farm for a number of years. I mean, if anybody sat in a tractor for 12 hours a day, like for 3 months straight, you'll know the insanity of it. Either you love it or you hate it, because it gives you lots of time to think, right? I kind of ventured out of that and eventually got into sales, and I was selling John Deere tractors of all things. But that was where I really got into the sales part of my life. And from there, I had some pretty good success, and I really enjoyed it. And then I decided, well, hey, a buddy of mine's doing mortgages, and he's doing pretty well, so I'm going to go be a mortgage broker. So I just got a license and went and did it, not really thinking that anything could ever fail in my life. So, things go well, and I become part owner of this mortgage company, and we're making lots of money, and all of a sudden 2008 happens, and things go from a hero to zero in no time. And, that was kind of the biggest stick of dynamite that ever blew up in my face. It was tough, and it was hard to come out of, but made it happen, and went from that into the logging industry. Again, I don't know why, but
it's a natural transition.
Yeah, things just fall on my face, and so I decided I'm going to be a logger. And do I know anything about logging? Do I know how to fall a tree? Nope. But I spent an hour or two with the guy learning how to cut timber, and that was my beginning. And so from there, being the salesman that I am, I went out and contracted land to cut timber on from private landowners, and learned how to market the material and so on and so forth. And then I got to a point where the company grew enough to where I could sell it, and I sold it. That's how I wound up in roofing, so to speak. I moved to Portland. I became a roofing salesman. That's a natural progression, being able to come into Jobin Roofing, and it worked out really well.
So what does success look like? You've mentioned things that have held you back. Brendan, you talked about scalable in the technical writing world that you were in. We've had 2008 economy blow up on us. We've dated a boss's daughter, now being the boss. I hope that's not a problem. But what does success look like for you?
I think, I don't know if you want to cue the cheesy music. I don't know, like a lot of the success, because even in these jobs I didn't like, the success was always in the relationship with the person. At the end of the day, are they happy with what they purchased? Are they doing better because they met me and better because I offered them a service? I don't look at it so much like I've got a product to sell, so much as a service to provide to somebody, even when it was shoes. I mean, success at the end of the day, it might be some nebulous thing, but it's small successes throughout. Did I sell this roof to somebody who needed it and did the best possible job for them? It's a weird mentality. Money to me is not the biggest thing in my life.
I think it all helps that we're all empaths and we all appreciate people and want to see the best for people.
And you guys did a great job of explaining that in a way that translated. You genuinely care.
I always tell people that Jobin Roofing is a people company first and a roofing company second.
Yes.
And that's how my whole life's been, is I just love people, and I feel the most fulfilled in life when I'm solving somebody's problem.
But you are a person that's passionate about other things outside of roofing, all of you. Alex, one of the things that we discussed or you've brought to my attention is your passion for veterans. And
yeah, so veterans, first responders, basically anybody that does something for somebody else without being asked to, so to speak. So we take veterans on a lot of fishing trips. Meeting with these guys, it's really brought a lot of significance to my life and a lot of profound experiences. I've met guys that have been blown up by IEDs, guys with missing limbs, guys that have been paralyzed, been able to take guys out and do a fishing trip with them when that was their number one item on their bucket list, and coincidentally the same guy was able to come back and fish with his son the last trip we did.
Shout out to Mr. Scott Wallace.
That's right. Hey, Scott. We love you, buddy.
His poor son who was seasick that whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, seeing Mr. Scott Wallace's face just when his son caught the only salmon of the day on the boat was just priceless. That was, I think, his son's first fish.
you guys have been fantastic today, and I continue to look forward to more opportunities to find how to invest back into you. I would say the takeaway that I have is how much you really care about the people that you are serving. So congratulations in coming together and forming Jobin Roofing, and certainly look forward to talking to you again in the future, you guys.
Wow. Well, hopefully you had some takeaways through those experiences with the Jobin brothers and Alex. It was a lot of fun sitting down with them, getting to go through the interview. I learned not only a lot about them, but also, working in some audio there. Clearly it wasn't as good as Roger does here for us, but it was fantastic working with them. And you know what? If you want to get a hold of the Jobin brothers or Alex Payne and sit down, spend some time with them, maybe you've got some projects like roofing that you need to get done, connect with them on Facebook. You can align with us at 3D Investing at Money on Tap, and you'll see some posting there that around the show. That was a lot of fun to create.
I think one takeaway I have from that is that was not in the audio that was provided, was that don't date the boss's daughter, because
that didn't turn out so well, did it?
he set the boss's daughter set his luggage on fire in the airport. Wow. Right? Or outside the airport. What was it? Right. My takeaway was it was in the airport. That
wow.
I don't know how you walk away and not get locked up or do some time
pre 9/11 or not. No.
Yes.
Wow, that is funny. But hey, here's what the takeaway I got. I was actually, to be quite honest with you, Seth, just a little bit jealous of you, and I think Ben and I were thinking the same way, because that actually sounded like a fun interview, and you had a great time talking with those guys. But really, what I thought was really cool about these guys is I think once they found what their passion was, what they really most enjoyed, and what they found brought them the most fulfillment was actually taking care of people. And they really, once they latched onto that, I think it made a big difference, because you know what, you can do that in many different industries. It could be the mortgage business, it could be, but they discovered,
and they found each other.
Yeah.
They found each other. I think I would round that out to being, they found purpose, they found reason. Those are types of things that we all struggle through in life on some level. To find that connection with people. I know I was that for you, John. So
yes, you were. Yes. My life changed.
Wow, that's how John and I connected. It was around Ben and finding purpose. in our
BB,
lives,
before
wasn't it?
Ben.
Yeah.
Yep, there's no doubt. Before Ben. It was all different. It was all different.
Oh, that's sacrilegious. No, but I think that's the exciting part, right? I mean, we're all in life together on some level. You find people to connect with, good, bad, or indifferent. And, I'm sure their everyday work life is not perfect, and but they really have an intentional design around what they want to accomplish, and that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, my favorite part of that show was finding the success piece. Like, what did success look like for them? And there was a lot of audio that we just kind of had to edit out for time and to get a kind of a clear message there. But that was a lot of fun to hear them align themselves, and like you said, three different people coming up with problems and then a solution together. And part of that being the passion to really help people and engage with people, and that being what their measure of success was. It wasn't financial. It wasn't anything else. It was really just pouring into other people's lives and finding that kind of success. And that's where I think we're kindred spirits here at Money on Tap.
Yes.
Is we really, really enjoy helping people wherever they're at and connecting and helping them find and take that next step.
And really the fact is we meet with a lot of small business owners, and I think we were actually just talking before the show, like, what drove you to talk with these guys? But the fact is, I think they had a great story, and they had a lot to share, and really a passion, and that was what we enjoy.
We're going to take a quick break at Money on Tap. You can reach us at 855-226-8551 or email us at info@yourmoneyontap.com.
Hi, my name is Ben Brayshaw, one of the co-hosts of Money on Tap. If you have questions when it comes to your retirement and are looking for a personalized solution, contact us at Brayshaw Financial Group. In today's volatile stock market, we can help you plan to find your successful retirement solution. Am I saving enough? Am I saving into the right places? Do my investments match my appetite for risk? Do I have a tax strategy that is going to help me keep more of what I earn? How can I maximize my Social Security income? If you are like most people, you are getting closer and closer to your retirement and may be wondering if you're taking the right steps. If you're in retirement, you may be wondering, am I maximizing my income while preserving my estate and caring for my family? We talk about all things financial in what we call three-dimensional investing, putting a plan around your financial future. If you feel that now is the time to start getting the answers to some of these questions for your own situation, give us a call at Brayshaw Financial Group at 855-226-8551. Headquartered in Bedford, New Hampshire, we have offices throughout New England and across the country. We would love the opportunity to show you how we can help. There's absolutely no cost or obligation just to meet with us, and we welcome you to our office. Call us at 855-226-8551.
More Money on Tap in just a moment. When we invest, we do so with a certain degree of risk, knowing the volatility of the market. On today's Cliff Notes edition of Money on Tap, John Ryder encourages us to have a game plan, and that doesn't necessarily mean we panic when the market is down.
Issues that worry investors today, they're not necessarily new worries. We find that it's really important for people to stay focused, despite all the day-to-day distractions that we face, especially during periods of economic uncertainty. When the going gets tough, a lot of people head for the sidelines. They're kind of scared. That's not always a good thing. And so what we encourage people to do is to stay steady with what they're doing, not necessarily to be reactive to what's going on in the market and to be moving in and out, but to really have a game plan when it comes to that volatility. The game plan may be very simple right now as you're seeing the markets go up and you see that. And you might like that. We all do as we look at our statements as they come in on a quarterly basis or a monthly basis, what have you. But the fact is we are destined to see more volatility coming in the future.
Thanks for joining us for this Cliff Notes edition of Money on Tap, with great tips from the pros in three-dimensional investing, utilizing insurance, brokerage, and fee-based planning. Now here's more Money on Tap with Seth, Ben, and John.
Welcome back. You're listening to Money on Tap, your personal finance headquarters. That's where we bring out professionals experiencing some fun in what we call three-dimensional investing. You can reach us at 855-226-8551 or email us at info@yourmoneyontap.com. You can also find us at Facebook at 3D Investing. All great information to consider here at Money on Tap. We are going to be talking about the retirement trap that you never saw coming. Did I say that right?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that for sure.
Yeah. you never saw coming.
Straight out of Harvard, Seth Cressman. It's unbelievable.
Oh, goodness gracious. It's wonderful to have you guys here with us today.
Wicked good having you here, Seth.
Yeah, thanks. We are going to be getting into that topic, but before we get to the retirement trap, I wanted to talk a little bit about Oregon, just because I can, I guess, and it's fun. But first, whenever I get a chance to tell you about what's happening here in Portland, it's my duty really, to enlighten you a little bit. We're just 16 miles west of Portland in Hillsborough. That's where our office is here. And just so you guys know, we were voted number 39 by Money Magazine's.
Out of 40, Seth? Out of how many, Seth?
36.
39 out of 40?
39 out of 10 is where we were.
They gave a charity vote.
Yeah. So you won't see it anywhere in that article there. But,
enlighten me, Seth. Keep enlightening me.
We were voted, 39 by out of 50 top places to live in the U.S. And that was by Money Magazine, 2018. And sometimes it's fun to just be able to highlight, hey, Hillsborough, Oregon. That's what we're doing here, folks. It's a great place to be. And if if you really are tired of that New England winter out there, it's wonderful. I mean, you might walk into our rain and our terrarium, Oregon, going on at 50 degrees and just think this is fantastic. At least that's what, a lot of people out here are saying. But yeah. Second, more to the serious side. More to the serious side. Is that Brayshaw Financial Group and Money on Tap, we're really passionate about helping you become successful in retirement. We talk a lot about that. And in all honesty, if we can help educate you to become confident in making decisions, and you want to take that next step, then we've done our job. More than that, we've fulfilled our mission and our purpose, and that's what our passion is. So I want to take some time here to talk about Social Security. We're going to be talking about the retirement trap, but a lot of people, Social Security is the only solution that they have, and what Oregon is trying to do is create a scenario that may save some more people from that reality. And so the program that Oregon has rolled out with several other states is called Oregon Saves.
Seth, you said something there that I thought was pretty interesting. I think it's very, very true. You said this. You said, I think that Social Security is one of the only basically the programs that people have, and many times there's people out there, again, they have not saved into different retirement programs for one reason or another. It may be that 401k that they're never able to do. Maybe they're in too much debt they never could save. But so this is basically a program that Oregon is using, and I think this is probably the first of many to come in different states.
Yeah.
But you found this one in Oregon called Oregon Saves, and it's kind of I guess like a complementary plan to Social Security, meaning that okay, so you've done nothing, but here's maybe an area that can actually help Oregonians to make good saving habits.
The data really says that basically Oregonians are 15 times more likely to save if there is a retirement option at work.
Yeah.
So what Oregon Saves is in a nutshell is it is requiring employers to offer a savings program through their work. Now, employees can opt out, so that is a potential solution, but employers are no longer going to be able to say, we don't offer any type of a retirement program here.
Which is kind of weird when I think about that. Isn't that kind of strange? I mean, I understand it, but isn't it kind of weird how the business owners can't make a decision on what they're going to do or what they're not going to do? I don't know. That's
not true. No, you're right. I think I understand what you're saying there,
yeah.
John. And here's the thing is that if you're basically opting into the Oregon Saves plan as an employer, this really doesn't it doesn't affect like your bottom line.
Okay.
It's the contributions are after-tax contributions that the employee is making.
Gotcha.
Employers are not required to contribute towards the plan. It's just that the after employees are paid, then there's a percentage of their 5%, I believe, is what it is going towards their retirement program, which is a Roth IRA in a nutshell.
Sure,
that's it.
Sure.
Yes, it's sponsored by the state of Oregon, so they've selected, the investment options that are available there for employees to invest in. But basically, it's setting up a Roth IRA with an automatic contribution from their pay.
Okay, gotcha. So it's not something that's necessarily not forcing a contribution from any kind of private company or anything like that.
But that's one of the things about small business America, right? I mean, we have employers who are every day trying to figure out how to make payroll, pay the bill. I mean, they're literally
keep the lights on. Yeah,
they're just trying to keep it going, and they know better days to come, and this is the life they've chosen. And offering a mandatory retirement plan that they would be obligated to make another contribution to is just another step of obligation that employers are not sure what that looks like at the end of the year or every month. I mean, they're looking to reduce bills. So this is kind of an interesting thing, right? This is something that's saying, hey, we know statistically that if something's offered, people will save.
But like that stat, you said something like they're 15 times more likely if they have the plan through work as opposed to doing it on their own. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's just basically forcing people to make a decision about whether they're going to contribute or not. It doesn't take anything out of the bottom line for the employer because it's an after-tax scenario for them. It's just linking up their payroll services to this plan, and in the process, the employee gets to decide whether they are going to contribute or not. But it forces them to make the decision that they're going to either opt out or opt in.
And maybe just easier too, Seth, right? Maybe just easier. Hey, I just go through work and just check this box and boom, as opposed to, I have to go open my account or meet with a financial advisor or whatever. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So, other thing kind of caveats here is that people can't roll in other 401ks into these or their IRAs. They just don't have that option available. But, down the road, they potentially could, keep their plan wherever they go. So they don't have to,
so it's portable, it goes with them. Yeah.
Right. Wherever they go. So, so it is so far it seems to be working. And, as they're moving through the numbers, they're starting with the larger companies that don't have any plans. And then they're, coming down to 2019, having, employers with 5 employees or less kind of being.
Is this being defined as a Roth? Could you roll your other Roths in it?
As of now, no.
No, right?
Yeah.
So, but is it considered a Roth? I mean, is it growing? I know it's after tax dollars. So it's growing tax deferred and it's coming out tax free.
So basically, it's just making it really, really easy for people. I guess the convenience factor is what they're kind of looking at here. Hey, you're part of a company. Hey, we can offer this. You check the box when you're on your new hire. Do you want to save or don't you?
Yeah.
So
yeah, they're just taking the data of, hey, if we put this in front of people at their job, they will do it. And that's a good thing for them.
So what about Roth contribution limits? Do those apply? Do we know?
They all apply.
They all apply. So you're still under the IRA and Roth IRA limits. That's interesting.
Yeah. All the rules of the road apply. It's really just a process put in place for employees to have a kind of an automated process to get enrolled and contribute.
Yeah.
It's automatic. You know what it says too here, this is the article that we're looking at. It says that it won't compete with existing company retirement plans such as 401ks. Well, it may or may not. The fact is, if you're putting money into one place, well, maybe you're not going to have money to put it into the other place, which, it's a voluntary plan. So,
that's the thing that it's not going to come alongside of and be a part of. If you have a 401k, if you have a simple program, if you've got some 403, any of those qualified asset retirement programs already in place, this is not designed to replace that. This is really just designed for the companies that don't have anything in place to ensure that their employees are having something put in front of them to contribute towards.
Yeah, no, this is very interesting. So you'd have to, as an employee, know, like, let's say your husband was self-employed and you happen to be doing just trying to keep yourself busy. There's a lot of moms out there that just want to have something to do between, 9 and 3. And
besides laundry, diapers.
Yeah, well, like the kids are out of the house. Yeah, right.
Yeah, besides the
I have
massive
to come in
amount
from
of work
my
that they're already
pool.
doing.
So, but I mean, there's people who do kind of like the Joe, that kind of the Joe Plumber thing from the election with Obama.
Oh,
and all that stuff, who might be outside the Roth contribution limits. You'd probably have to know if you're, in that scenario.
Yeah.
Interesting. So
all kinds of complexities. It sounds so easy, but yeah.
Well, I think for the vast majority of people, this is going to be fine. This is going to pop right in. But there's going to be a few people out there that might say, "Oh yeah, that sounds great," and then all of a sudden they know they have to undo.
And this is kind of cool stuff. I was looking at it. It says you can choose a different savings rate. You can go from 1% to as much as 100% of your gross pay. Of course, within limits, right?
Right.
But yeah, interesting.
I think we're going to see a lot more of things like this because I think the way America is shaped on all the small businesses that are out there, from the hardware stores to the painters to the the construction companies. I mean, how many builders do you know that they've got 3 or 4 guys working for them, and they're out there swinging a hammer too, and they're making a decent living. I mean, there's the complexity of having to go home and make sure that the retirement contributions are made for the employees every month or every week or whatever. It's just another duty.
Another thing, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I think we're going to see more of this.
Seth, they have something cool too that I was just looking at too, is the fact they have the automatic increase on there. And so it says there's a 1% automatic increase. And of course you could call up and say, hey, I don't want to do the 1%. But every January 1st, for those who've been in the program for at least 6 months, there's a 1% automatic, just kind of ratcheting it up a little bit, which is not a bad thing because we all know this. We all know that people have had maybe 401ks that they started years and years ago, and they were doing 2 or 3%. They've never ratcheted it up ever. This is kind of almost this automatic thing. It's kind of like out of sight, out of mind. And as you're starting to make more, and hopefully you're making more. However, it could be a problem. Let's say that you're not making more. Some people we've talked to who are kind of stagnant when it comes to their income. And boy, if you start cutting more into the bottom line, that might be tough too. But the cool thing is the flexibility, and that's the neat thing with it.
Well, how many people have you met that have put $25 away in a fund company or something like that, and then all of a sudden I have one client who's got a ridiculous amount of money. He's like, I don't even know what the cost basis is. I've been reinvesting dividends, and I was putting 25, then I did 30 because they sent me something one day. And
we had a client, Ben, that came in. This was a little while ago, but he actually sent me a statement from the first savings he ever did. This guy's worth well over $1 million right now, but he said back when he and his wife started about 30 years ago investing, right when they got married, he just started putting money away. And I think it was $25 a month that he was doing. And he was just incredulous. And that's why he sent it to me. He said, I can't believe what we started out at and kind of what's happened now. Obviously, he increased over the years, and his income was strong and had some good things that happened along the way. But pretty cool to see how just starting out on a small basis can really turn into a pretty big thing.
Yeah.
Encouraging, I think, for all of us.
So we're going to take a quick break at Money on Tap. You can reach us at 855-226-8551 or email us at info@yourmoneyontap.com. And don't forget, we're going to come right back with the retirement trap you never saw coming. Hi, my name is Seth Crustman, partner with Brayshaw Financial Group and one of the co-hosts of Money on Tap. One of the biggest concerns and largest expenses people face today is taxes. Without thoughtful planning, taxes can destroy future retirement dollars, eliminating the possibility of a timely retirement or dreams of what you want retirement to look like. If you're like most people, you're getting closer and closer to retirement, and you may be wondering if you're taking the right steps. Will my income be enough? Will rising taxes force me to give up my dreams? How does inflation factor into all of this? These are real concerns, and you're not alone. Putting a plan around your financial future is what we do. If you have questions when it comes to your financial security, and if you're looking for a personalized solution, contact us at Brayshaw Financial Group, 855-226-8551. It's time for you to start getting answers to your questions. Headquartered in Bedford, New Hampshire, Brayshaw Financial has offices across the country. We'd love the opportunity to show you how we can help. There's absolutely no cost or obligation to meet with us. Call us at 855-226-8551. 855-226-8551.
More Money on Tap in just a moment. Ben, John, and Seth explain why it's important for the investor to beware, even when it sounds legitimate, which was the case with Bernie Madoff and the now well-known Ponzi schemes. That's today on our Cliff Notes edition of Money on Tap, as Ben begins by describing what the fraudulent claim looks like.
Someone's taking your money in, showing you a potential value to your assets in which they are not actually true.
And also they're saying, hypothetically, we can get you a 15% rate of return guaranteed on a regular basis, and maybe they're going to show you a certificate or something like that.
Yeah, and that's what Bernie Madoff was doing. But he was actually, we don't make the big returns. We just do 8%. And, the banks, everyone was buying into this. He's like, we're not the big, hedge funds. We just do a steady.
So he was selling to investment companies. He was selling to everyone, not your next door neighbor, but he was selling to everyone.
Yeah, big banks, everybody. Yeah. And, a lot of people don't realize that he helped write a lot of, the laws that we actually work under in some capacities in the securities world. So it's interesting that he was involved on that end and knew the fraud, how to do it. The one thing I find about Ponzi schemes is that in a positive market, it's easier to hide.
As returns are, everything's doing well. And
right. It was in the big crashes that Ponzi schemes show their face.
When everything's going well, nobody's paying that close of attention, right? But when they start to see a market correction and investors start to go to, where do I have my money and how do I safeguard some of my money and start divesting and taking some of that money off the table and putting it into savings accounts or whatever they think is more secure possibly. But anyways, when it starts to unwind, well, then that's when it exposes the Ponzi schemes, because typically the Ponzi schemes are relying on an influx of people putting more money into the program. When it starts to go away, then they have no way of having liquidity. And so they get exposed.
Thanks for joining us for this Cliff Notes edition of Money on Tap, with great tips from the pros in three-dimensional investing, utilizing insurance, brokerage, and fee-based planning.
Welcome back. You're listening to Money on Tap, and you can reach us at 855-226-8551 or email us at info@yourmoneyontap.com. You can also find us at Facebook, 3D Investing. You know what? There's one more out there. It's John's favorite, and it's Twitter at BFG_LLC. And for those of you that are on Twitter out there connecting with your latest financial news and really building awareness on all sorts of topics, that's one of the fun things we get to do here at Money on Tap. We're going to get right down to business right now. John's looking at me like, are you serious, Seth?
Let's make it happen, Seth.
John's busy tweeting right now.
Yes.
John's a big tweeter.
Yes.
Him and
stop
Trump
dancing around this topic.
Twittering away.
tweeting.
The retirement trap you never saw coming. Did I do it right that time?
You did, Seth. You did a great job.
It's like the worst. Right. That's the worst Massachusetts accent I've ever had.
I ever had.
I know. Hey, but I'm gonna be out there real soon, and I'm gonna work on it while I'm there. Okay,
good.
I promise you. Promise you. So before you do anything with your IRA or your 401k, all right, take a look, because Dan Kaplinger, and this goes back from October 5th, 2018, writes an article here that we're kind of, talking about some of the topics here, but we want to give him credit. And that's basically taking a look at the people that are retirees that rely on Social Security to help them, make ends meet. Basically, they're not going to have to worry about this, first of all. But anybody that's looking to take money out of their IRA or their 401k qualified plans and is taking their Social Security, guess what? You're probably going to wind up paying some taxes that you just didn't see coming.
What? Yeah,
Yep.
You know what's funny? A lot of people don't really realize that either. They have their Social Security, and obviously most people out there that we're talking to, they have some money that they're pulling out of IRAs, 401k plans, and when they do that, well, there's a taxable event that occurs sometimes.
Well, what's interesting is that if you're listening to the show and you're kind of saying, hey, I don't know if I'm getting taxed on that, and I'm at full retirement age, whether you were 65, 66, whatever your full retirement age is, you can go right to your tax return on the front page of that 1040, look right down on line 20, and right in the kind of the middle of the page, you'll see a number, and that will be the amount of Social Security you collected. And as you go to the right, if there's anything on that line, that's how much getting included back into your income as you're going through that process. You can see that. Now, there's some planning you can do around that. I mean, we're not CPAs, but we do some planning around how to minimize that and so forth, and what's getting added back in. Now, a lot of people, I think we all know, are aware of the kind of pre-full retirement age tax limits. Like in 2018, our tax limits on earned income is $17,040.
So what does that mean then?
It's like you can make like $1,400 a month.
Okay.
And then once you do that, then you're starting to give back basically $1 for every dollar you earn.
Okay, so that's why some retirees are saying, I can work, but I can only work
I'd rather
so
wait till
much.
full retirement age
Yeah.
so they're not just ripping back my Social Security. That doesn't make sense for me. But the next tax trap is when you actually step into full retirement age and you have this, you start either still working or you're taking out of your retirement plan, and that money gets added back in indirectly. So people don't realize that. There's a couple of those pieces that can hurt.
Yeah, so the laws governing the taxation of Social Security benefits basically acknowledge the fact that most retirees live on a fixed income and just can't afford to lose a big portion of their benefits to taxes. And that's why they use an income-based test in order to come up with how much of a person's benefits must get included in taxable income. And calculating exactly how much you have to include as taxable income is a bit complicated. But, to start out, retirees take their total income from all sources other than Social Security and add it up. And then they have to put in 1/2 of their total Social Security benefits for the year. And that comes up with an annual income number for the purposes of determining whether any benefits will be taxed. I mean, that's kind of the basics of what it is that we're talking about in a nutshell here.
And I think, Seth, that the numbers add up a lot faster than people think. So when they take a look at some of the different investments that they have, whether it be that 401k or IRA, but before you know it, that income can be pretty high and they can be paying more taxes than they ever thought. And that's why looking at that line, you said it been on the 1040, it's line 20.
I believe it's line 20, yeah.
But line 20, it's very important to know what you're paying and what kind of things can you do now to help make sure that you're not paying taxes on those Social Security benefits.
And there's a lot you can do. This is not the only tax trap inside the Social Security world. Muni bonds can be added back in too. Some of the interest and dividends from that can.
You mean those tax-free,
muni bonds,
tax-favored investments that everybody says when we talk about tax-free income? People, oh yeah, muni bonds, right?
Yeah, but sometimes the income from those can get added back in, causing your Social Security to get ratcheted in as well. And so people don't realize that you're indirectly getting taxed. But I think when you start realizing where the numbers are, that's like when you're saying, hey, how much is it? So I mean, when you're married filing jointly, it's $44,000. When all of a sudden Social Security numbers start getting clicked in there, that's not a lot of money from a lot of different sources coming in. Husband and wife both have a 401k and IRAs and so forth. Or when you hit 70 and a half, people say, well, you know what? 44,000, that's enough for me. Our house is paid off. We don't travel much. We live a simple life and, we take a little bit of money. But when you get to 70 and a half, if you do have a big IRA or 401k, you got to take those minimum distributions, which how many people, John, that when they have to take them say, well, I don't want it.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
Yeah, and why don't they want it? Sometimes they don't want to pay the taxes on it. But, I think this is really a great segue into thinking about, well, what kind of things can we do? Because like Ben, you're just saying, we have IRAs, you have 401ks, all these taxes you're paying. Well, this is many times why we talk to people about the advantage of using a Roth IRA if you can, or perhaps even if your company allows you to do something like the earlier segment we were talking about with Oregon Saves. That can be a powerful thing, utilizing the Roth IRA through your company. But also, there are other different venues or things that you can use for that. Maybe you have a Roth 401k. I was just talking with a client who actually came on board with us through Money on Tap, and he had been listening to our show, and he heard a segment where we were talking about the importance of using a Roth 401k if you have one available to you. Now, he went and checked with his HR, and lo and behold, he did have that option. So what he was able to do, he was able to switch from his regular traditional 401k that he had over to a Roth 401k. Here's the big difference for him later on. Once he builds that Roth 401k up, and he starts building that up, and maybe even will equal the amount of money that he has in his traditional, he's young enough that might happen, then that means every time he pulls a dollar out of that plan, zero taxes for him.
On that Roth side.
Yeah. Now, not the same on the traditional side, because that's money, and I don't remember exactly what he has in there, but he has a good sum of money in there. But that money, when he pulls that out, will be added to the Social Security balance, but not
the Roth money.
Roth.
And there's other ways. We've talked about rich man's Roths. We've talked about a lot of different ways to get tax-free income out. And I think when you look at scenarios like this, like the kind of the retirement tax traps that exist, and there's more than this, okay, folks? There's more than this out there. but it makes that tax-free income really relevant. Now, since the recent tax cuts that we've had, and some of the special filing things that we have not experienced as a country, the individual and the joint deductions went from $6,000 and $12,000 respectively to $12,000 and $24,000 this coming year, which means that there's going to be a lot less need to do long-form retirement plans.
Right.
Tax returns.
And that was all kind of part of the Trump plan, right?
Yeah, that was all part of it, to simplify.
Yep.
And that actually gives a lot of people who don't have a lot of deductions a bigger deduction. So if you're just kind of like, well, I never hit those numbers anyways, well, now you're automatically going to get almost twice as much as what you had before as an automatic deduction, which is a huge tax benefit. I mean, I think we're going to see people getting money back significantly more this coming year. Now, that being said, when you put money into that 401k and it's not a Roth, it's just the regular 401k side, you get the tax deduction. But with taxes basically going down in this country right now, it makes a Roth even more relevant and more opportunistic to do it, because with our national debt, I can't foresee taxes being down for a long period of time. So paying taxes now, there may be a time where that changes and you might want to seek some professional advice around that and when that is. But, right now it might be something to consider saying, hey, I maybe want to pay the taxes and do that Roth 401k. And how many people come through our office and say, I didn't know there was a Roth 401k, or they never told me about that. I'd have to check. And lo and behold, it's there. And so you may be listening today and say, I don't think we have a Roth 401k. I mean, there's not a lot of, honestly, for the majority of what I've seen, there's not a lot of great education in the 401k space to really offer, that
unless they're
knowledge.
working with us, of course, which that's what we're focused on.
Well, yeah, one of the things I'd say, if you have a 401k out there, if you're part of a decent sized company, even a smaller sized company, go ahead and make a phone call to HR. Step one.
Yeah.
Hey, what do I have available to me? And
it used to be rare.
Yeah. But now, this obviously with people seeing the importance of the Roth and companies seeing that as a big value add, go ahead and see it and find out if that's an option for you. And that may be a place for you to start putting your dollars instead of the traditional 401k.
Yeah, I'd say it is more and more becoming the new norm.
Yeah.
Starting to see that Roth option in the 401ks. And, there's again, contacting people, reaching out. There are resources that are included, but they're self-directed. These are, kind of the options that people need to understand, is that, you got to reach out to people and ask for help sometimes before they're understanding where you're at and how to engage and get you where you need to go.
I think there's two types of listeners today, right? There's the younger before retirement, and then there's the post-retirement person listening. And the younger person, the educational experience here is you need tax-free income coming through the door in the future. And that's something you need to focus on, because there's retirement tax traps that you're going to face. And the more preparation you do, the better off you're going to be.
And those are different than the older folks.
Right. And then the older folks, there's things you can do potentially too to reduce at least the exposure that you have in that line 20. There's things you can potentially do to kind of circumnavigate the amount of taxable distribution that's being seen. So you might be able to reduce that impact. And if that's something that you're concerned about, I would give us a call or give somebody a call to talk about it and find out somebody that can help you.
I think that's one of the main things that we do really as a firm is we spend a lot of time from the tax angle and helping people look at ways in which they can minimize. Again, like Ben said earlier, we are not CPAs. However, we often work with CPAs in order to help people minimize the taxes that they're paying. And I can tell you, even though we may be in a low tax environment right now, it never feels like that. I mean, the business owners that we talk to, these guys, the guys that are making good money, they don't feel like they're in this great low tax environment. Sometimes we have to remind them of that, but there's also many times things that we can do to help not only lower their taxes right now, but also lower them in the future when it might be really, really important for them to do so.
I hope this has been a conversation that you can continue to take with you throughout your week and add to your own experiences. Hopefully you're fulfilling your purpose, bringing passion into your industry, your family, your friends' lives, maybe somebody new that comes alongside of you and aligns with you in the direction that you're heading. Kind of like the Jobin brothers. I'd like to thank the Jobin Roofing for the time that they spent with us here at Money on Tap and Brayshaw Financial Group. And we're grateful for the opportunity to come alongside you and share your passion for improving the lives of your clients, your friends, and your family. And today, that includes you, and we recognize you, and we thank you for inviting us into this place with you. If you have any questions, call us at 855-226-8551 or email us at info@yourmoneyontap.com. All the best.
The views expressed are not necessarily the opinion of this radio station and should not be construed directly or indirectly as an offer to buy or sell any securities mentioned herein. Investing is subject to risks, including loss of principal invested. No strategy, product, material, or tool mentioned can assure a profit nor protect against loss. Please note that individual situations can vary. Therefore, the information, products, materials, or tools mentioned should be relied upon when coordinated with individual professional advice. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. This show may be subsidized in whole or in part by a product sponsor or issuer. Securities and advisory services offered through SagePoint Financial Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC, and a registered investment advisor. All other services offered through Brayshaw Financial Group LLC are independent of SagePoint Financial. SagePoint Financial and Brayshaw Financial Group do not provide tax or legal advice. Main office is located at 116 South River Road, Bedford, New Hampshire, 03110, and can be reached at toll-free 855-226-8551.